What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new episode of the Trifecta. I personally would like to apologize to all of our fans and viewers and everybody associated with Back Sports Page. Between myself, Tommy, and Tyrone, we've all just been incredibly busy. This quarantine has us going stir crazy, so we're just kind of trying to fix everything. I've had a couple personal things go on in my life. I know Tyrone has had some stuff go on in his life. I know Tommy's been going through some stuff. But we are back. We are here with an all-new episode. We've got a lot of things to cover today. We're talking everything from the NBA bubble to how much of a mess the MLB is. We're going to talk about a little bit of hockey and some football. So, guys, Tyrone, Tommy, it's good to have you guys back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited. Let's get it.
Good to be back. Good to be back, boys.
All right, so how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I actually watched, the Hard Knocks episode for 2020, so that has me, hopeful for the NFL season.
One can hope, right? One can hope.
I was telling Ty before the call, I was like, the NFL could totally do a bubble. They could.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, I'm not even saying this, as a homer, but especially at a place like Gillette Stadium, there's 10 hotels all within walking distance, basically, from the stadium. So it'd be so easy to throw all the teams in those hotels and just call it a day. But obviously, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to do a bubble, which is kind of silly, but
yeah. Well, it's, I've been talking to a lot of my friends and stuff. It's just it's August, the middle of August. And right around now would be the Hall of Fame game. We'd be starting the preseason. It's just, it doesn't even feel like football is coming up, we got less than a month before the Chiefs play the home opener. And it's just, not that I'm not excited because, this is the one year where it's the Broncos kind of have a little bit of a chance, but it's just it just doesn't even seem like we're ready for football season.
Yeah. I like that though. I think everybody has a chance now.
For sure.
The best. Doesn't matter who it matters who you have on your roster, but you have an advantage if you can manage.
Ty, I hate to break it to you, but I mean the Bears have the least chance with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles.
Hey man, Nick Foles could have a good year.
He could have an all right year.
That comment, man. I liked you until that comment. I don't know. We have to
BDN, man. BDN Foles, man. They call him that for a reason.
Listen, you guys can make fun of me. The Patriots have the most people opting out. So one of the rookies that the Patriots drafted retired already.
Yeah, about the Seahawks rookie too. He got cut. It's probably the same thing.
Yeah, the Patriots rookie literally retired before he ever played a snap of football.
That was a complete business move. I agree with that one.
But no, I mean it's exciting. I am so excited for football, but I get what you're saying. It doesn't feel real because I was actually hanging out with my buddy the other day and we were talking about fantasy, and it's just this is around the time we'd be getting ready for the fantasy draft, getting ready to, pick rosters, stuff like that. And it's just we don't even know if there's going to be a season, so we can't even really prep for that.
Yeah.
And it's tough. You go. Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying even though it does feel folklore that the NFL is going to be back this year, it's as long as you prepare it's gonna come, they are, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Trust me.
That's actually something I want to talk about real quick. And I'm gonna use again the Patriots as an example, but this extends to every single team and every single player in this situation. So Cam Newton signed a 1-year contract with the Patriots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens to that 1-year contract if the season does get canceled? Does the contract still expire when the season is supposed to end, or is there some loophole in the contract wording that says if the season's canceled, the contract quote unquote renews when the next season begins?
Yeah, you see, I imagine that there's something that the NFLPA and the head of the PA, DeMaurice Smith, and the entire NFL has come up with like you said, if the season ends and there isn't a season, or they get halfway through and they have to cancel it, that there's some clause to where, that contract restarts at the beginning of the next year, when the season starts. But it's tougher for football players because there's so much more physicality when it comes to football. And it's these players take so much more damage to their bodies that 1 year versus 1 year for a baseball player, especially with a 60-game season. It's a totally different kind of enemy. So I would be surprised if it wasn't that way, because I mean, you have a lot of players who are signing their rookie deals, and if they get if they miss the season, that's an extra year that the team isn't going to have to pay them. So I imagine that there's something there that's saying, okay, at the end of the day, if no matter what, we're playing a full season for you to count towards your contract.
Right. And, I want to make this a point, is this discussion actually came up with a buddy and I that we had, because I was talking about Cam Newton and Belichick signing Cam Newton. Now, if that is the case, right, and Belichick has already thought about this, no doubt in my mind, makes me think, like, if this is really what Belichick's mindset was, it would actually kind of overtake just how smart I actually thought he was. And because I think Cam Newton is the perfect person to benefit from this. Right, last season he got hurt in the preseason, didn't play any games. Right, the year before that gets hurt in week 8 or week 9 and is out for the whole season. Or not even the whole season. He's out for the last 2 games of the season, but played injured the rest of it. And so Cam is at a point where he wants to prove to everybody he's healthy. He wants to prove to everybody, I can do it. I can take on the big job. But everyone's counting him out. So maybe Belichick in his head said, you know what? If there is a clause in this contract that says if we don't play a football season, I still get his contract for as cheap as it was the next year, that means Cam would have all of last year off, the summer, this whole year off to rehab and get better and feel better and have a whole other year, basically a whole year and an off season to work and build a rapport with some of the receivers, to work on learning the playbook. He would have basically 2 years to learn the Patriots system.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's not losing anything because no one else is playing, right? It's not like Cam is losing out on time on the football field. Everybody is. So he's still going to be at the same spot that everybody else is at. And if that was really Belichick's genius behind that 1 year signing, I think that is one of the smartest things, because Cam has the most to gain from it.
Oh yeah. I don't put that past Belichick at all. Like, that man's out there he's playing chess, man. He's playing chess. And a lot of the people out there are playing checkers. Now, what's interesting is that you bring that up. What's interesting is, how does that look in a macro view for the league, right? So not just focusing on Cam. Let's talk about these off-season negotiations that are always blowing up the news every summer, right? Well, how do those players navigate in this, limbo phase of the contracts?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a weird situation that everybody's in. And I mean, going back to the Cam thing, I think you made a good comment. A lot of these players, when they come in, it's almost like a blessing in disguise. A lot of these players, if that were to happen, a lot of these players don't get the time to work with, especially now, the like new offensive coordinators and the new guys that they have been accustomed to. And when you go from a guy like Mike Shula, who was Cam's last offensive coordinator in 2017, his last like real season where he actually finished the whole season, to Josh McDaniels, who's one of the highest regarded offensive coordinators in the league. And obviously we know how smart of a man Bill Belichick is. I think you put it well. He's playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers. You got 31 other teams playing checkers. I mean, it's a weird situation that we're in, and I think this season is going to bring out a lot of young guys that we didn't expect to have good season, get a lot of good opportunities, and they'll be able to start fighting for those contracts.
So I want to get a little bit off the football track, but I want to touch upon what you just said, Tommy. A lot of these young guys are starting to have breakout seasons. Let's talk about the NBA for a second. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about a kid like Devin Booker, for example.
Devin Booker
led the Suns.
Is he new moves? I don't think he's new moves. I don't think that this is new. I'm sorry.
Okay, but everyone's saying Devin Booker's a bust, or Devin Booker should be traded, and that Phoenix isn't doing anything for him. He leads them to 8-0. What was he averaging? Like 29 point something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It was like 29.2 points per game. Devin Booker went off. And again, I'm going to relate this back to a different conversation I had with one of my friends, right? I know I keep mentioning my friend. I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Calvin real quick for this conversation. For what it's worth, right? We're so used to seeing players have the home court advantage when it comes to basketball. We are used to seeing stars like Giannis and LeBron and Anthony Davis. We see them all the time when it comes to playing in front of these large crowds, having everybody chant for them, and we always see them perform better for those crowds. But then you have the people like Damian Lillard, you have the people like Devin Booker, who don't care if they're playing in front of a crowd. And if anything, it might make them slightly worse because of the pressure. So when you take them out of that environment and you put them in a bubble system like they're in right now, and then you're seeing guys like TJ Warren go off, you're seeing Damian Lillard put up 153 points 154 points in 3 games.
Yeah.
That's unreal. Unreal. Devin Booker, like you see these stars who are going off, and I think it's that environment. It's that whole, sort of not having the crowd to distract you.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, I'm sure you guys have seen the conversations I've had in the group chat for Back Sports page. I think it's starting to affect a lot of teams. You see it for the most example I could think of is the Bucks. Milwaukee is learning that they are not invincible, right?
Yeah.
They don't have that home court advantage and those fans behind them yelling and screaming and chanting for them and yelling Greek freak Greek, they don't have that.
Yeah.
And so they're starting to realize we're not invincible anymore, and it's starting to bother them. When do you ever see Giannis lose his cool the way he has over these last 8 games? You never see that.
That's what I love about the bubble, though, Jared. Like, it breeds this environment of competition, right, between the players, right? They blocking out the noise. There's no noise. So the only noise that they have to, deal with and navigate through is within each other. Right. So now there's the trash talking is more amplified. The competition is really making diamonds out here. Like TJ Warren is a competitor.
Yeah.
Right. Since his college days at NC State, right, getting buckets. Like the fact that the bubble that I think is over not seen enough or thought about enough is the real ballers are gonna shine, man. Like the hoopers,
right.
The real hoopers.
Yeah.
It's again, right? I wrote an article about this months ago, and Tyrone, you remember, I wrote an article about the chemistry that the Celtics have.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's saying, the Celtics aren't going to make it deep in the playoffs. I have the Celtics coming out of the East this year. The Raptors, it's going to be, if everything obviously goes right, I'm expecting a Raptors-Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. Unless they meet beforehand, which I don't think they can. I probably can somehow, but I'm expecting a Raptors-Celtics Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm expecting it to go 7 games, but I'm expecting the Celtics to win. And as long as the Celtics every game have 2 players pop off, they're going to win almost every game. And the crazy thing is the Celtics have 6 players that can do it. They have their starting 5 that can pop off, plus Marcus Smart. It's unbelievable. Again, it boils back down to, like we were saying, that home court advantage, that outside noise. The Celtics have shown they don't care about that outside noise, or that they do care. And because when they're at home, they play out of their minds. They're playing out of their minds in the bubble. So, it's just this whole new dynamic. I think it's a great thing for sports. Honest to God, and correct me if I'm wrong, but do you guys think it would be better if more sports like the NHL and like the NBA, like they're doing right now, had bubbles strictly for the playoffs?
I was actually just about to make that comment. I think, going back to what Tyrone said, it just adds a whole different dynamic. When you're playing at a neutral site, and like you said, the only fans are virtual fans. They got them in the background, but you can't really hear them that well. But it's like ballers ball. Legends come out when legends need to come out, and it's like you're seeing. I'm from Indiana, big Pacers fan. Man, TJ Warren is balling. Like, I mean, the dude, and I knew he was good when they got him, especially for what they got him for. But I don't think obviously nobody could predict that he was going to play this well. But I think you're seeing that with a lot of teams. Obviously, we mentioned Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton was playing lights out on defense. That was one of the biggest things that one of his disadvantages, I guess is the right word. Probably not the right one I'm thinking of, but he wasn't the best at defense. And head coach Monty Williams has done an absolutely stand-up job of getting that team to perform the way that they did. And I mean, we saw it. We all knew Dame is Dame. I mean, Dame time showed up when he needed to. And we saw it last night. But Karis LeVert's another name that a lot of people don't think about because he plays in Brooklyn. And he's a hooper. Exactly. He balled out last night. Because I kind of wanted the Suns to win or to make it in, because I just thought it would have been cool to see. I was hoping that Karis LeVert would have made that shot, but it just adds a whole different dynamic, because when you take away all the fans and you take away all the crowd noise and all the outside stuff, and you just let the guys play, you really start to see who is, who deserves to be in the league. And not that the guys don't deserve to be in the league, but you're seeing guys who don't get the recognition, that they should be getting because they're in a small market or because they're a sixth man or something like that. Or, sorry.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
To add on to what you're saying, it's not even just these lesser known players.
Yeah.
Like Devin Booker, like TJ Warren. And not to say Devin Booker's
a lesser known player. Can we talk about that?
Okay.
Can we talk about this? Please.
I understand he's not a lesser known player, but he is somebody that's not on a lot of people's radars for a great player.
Yeah, I think it's because he's in such a small market. I
agree. I think he's awesome. But one player that comes
in a hidden market right now, bro.
One player that comes to mind, though, that has been playing absolutely out of his mind, that he's the future of the league, is Luka Doncic.
Of course.
Luka has been absolutely outstanding.
Tyrone didn't like that.
Bro, did you say he was a lesser known player?
No, I am saying the opposite.
Okay.
I'm saying the opposite. Okay.
Okay, we're on the same page now. Okay.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying you've been seeing some of the lesser known players through the course of the bubble kind of shine because they're playing smaller markets. They don't have the outside noise. And then you're seeing superstars like Giannis kind of take back some of what they do because they don't have the outside noise. But Luka being a superstar continues to be consistent, to be amazing. That's what I'm trying to say.
I like how we're thinking right now, right? I like how we're thinking because what you just said, I think, is the fundamental key to sports, right? These stars, I don't know, man. You guys read Greek mythology at all?
A little bit. I'm actually taking a Greek mythology class this semester.
Yeah. You know what hubris is? For my viewers out there who don't know what hubris is, it's pretty much that, your ego is so big and you're used to being like, big. You used to not falling at any challenge that, you start to slip up. You start to, take things for granted. You start to look at, life big, like you're bigger than everybody else, right? And I think these superstars that are struggling right now, like Giannis, and I didn't think Giannis had this in him, right? They're struggling because I think they were gearing up for the playoff, right? When LeBron says going into playoff mode, you should always be in playoff mode.
Yeah.
And those guys that are always in playoff mode are dropping 61 a game.
Yeah.
150 in 3 games. Dame doesn't take time off, bro.
Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that you like. Those are the kind of players that you want to root for across all the sports. The guy, and again, going back to my comment about the small market, Portland is a pretty small market compared to LA, and same with Phoenix. Like, you want to root for those guys. I think it was Devin Booker's the one who has the Kobe mentality. Man, there are players who just absolutely every single night. Doesn't matter what it is, who they're playing, what game it is on the schedule. They will go out and give you 110%. And it's like those kinds of players, especially the ones who don't get recognized, are the guys who we should be celebrating even more. Because obviously Devin Booker and Dame Lillard, I mean, Dame just got the 2K21 cover, but he deserved it. I mean, the dude, even before the bubble, the dude has been balling out, and it's honestly insane to watch somebody play at high of a clip that he is. And man, I'll tell you what, I am hoping so much that they beat Memphis tomorrow and that they can upset the Lakers, because I think that would just add even more to his legacy. So
I want to touch upon this for a second. Dame is my favorite type of player in any sport. He's the type of player that has a chip on his shoulder and hates everybody, and he is out for blood.
Yeah.
Everybody's counting him out. Skip Bayless telling him he's not clutch. People saying Kyrie's better, which we're gonna have to talk about that in a second.
Oh boy.
Dame.
Who said Kyrie?
A lot of people.
Yeah, me, man. That's what I'm thinking too.
a lot of people are saying Kyrie is better than Dame. And I said we're going to talk about this in a second.
Maybe a handle, but that's about all.
Dame is coming out he's coming out for blood. And he's proving it night in and night out that he can do it, that he can compete with the best of the best, right? And you hear the whole stuff with Pat Beverly and Paul George, and they're chirping back and forth at each other. Dame can back it up.
Oh yeah,
Dame. I have to buy myself a Damian Lillard jersey. He's awesome. And the craziest part is, I guess he was saying in I forget where he said it, like what interview it was, but I guess someone approached him about forming a super team, and like he didn't disclose who. He just said someone came to me about forming a super team, and he said no. He's like, I am my own super team, and he wants to prove it. He wants to beat the super team.
Yeah. And it's those kinds of players that even when they have an off night, like Dame did the night that Paul George and Pat Beverly called him out, he'll answer the next time, and he drops 61. Those are the kind of players that I love to be a fan of.
They make sports just so much more entertaining. And like, you're obviously a baseball fan. It's like Big Papi coming out and hitting those clutch, bottom of the ninth home run.
Yeah,
swag, bro. It's the swag.
Yeah, and it's those, like you said, it's in baseball. These guys are, especially DHing before this season. They get at bat a game. That's it. And it's just like a kicker for the NFL. They may get one kick a game, and that's all they got to do. But for guys like David Ortiz and Adam Vinatieri and Devin Booker, they're going to show up no matter what. Right. And those are the kinds of guys that make sports fun to watch.
Exactly. But let's go back to that Dame versus Kyrie conversation. I have heard more people say that Kyrie is better than Dame.
I need to meet these people.
Listen, they're all over the place. It's not too hard. You join any NBA group on Facebook, and it's pretty easy to find. But people are saying, even Skip Bayless tweeted this and was saying that Kyrie is more clutch than Dame.
Well, Skip Bayless. I mean, come on now.
Right. I was like, come on.
What? Handles, yes, not clutch,
hey man,
bro.
I'm a Tebow fan because I'm a Broncos fan, but come on, Skip Bayless has said some stuff that I don't know if even he believes. I think he's just saying it.
He's saying it just to get that attention.
Exactly.
But no, there's no way that Kyrie is better. Listen, I will give Kyrie all the credit in the world. Right?
Oh, yeah, he's nice. He's nice.
Top 5. I think he's a top 5 point guard, but I mean, Dame is top 3 at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. But
count up your point guards, man. Count up your point guards. Count them off.
Now I gotta think of some. I gotta think of them on the league. Dame.
Expect me.
When he's healthy, I think John Wall is really good. Oh boy, I like Kemba, of course.
Okay.
Kemba's the type of dude that elevates the gameplay of his teammates around him. Like, Kemba is just...
Are we counting Luka as a point guard, or are we counting him as a shooting guard? Or like a hybrid? You guys are going to have to name off some...
Luka, man. Leave Luka out of that.
I'm going to have to back out of the conversation there.
Because Ty knows the second Luka's involved, he's like, you know what, Luka's number one?
You cannot deny that Luka is absolutely dominating.
Luka is the absolute future of the NBA. I don't care what anybody says.
I love Luka.
Mm-hmm.
But no, but yeah.
That was 3. I need about 2 more names.
I got. Try let me come back to that one for a minute.
All right, we're gonna revisit this.
Let me look up here some top 5 point guards in the league.
Hey, put that on the schedule for the next episode.
Yeah, right.
We'll do that. We'll do a top 5.
Yeah, let's do it. But no, I
see, you type it in on Google, and it's got Luka Doncic as the number 1 guy. It's got James Harden as the 2. When did he start playing point?
No, James Harden is a point guard, bro. He's a point guard.
I've always thought of him as a hybrid. I've always thought of him as a 1 and a 2.
Yeah, I mean, in today's game, you can't really.
Yeah, it's tough to like make a top 5 because you have so many guys who can play the 3 and the 4, the 2 and the 3, or 1 and 2. It's tough, but I'll stick with Dame being a top 3. This list has him as a top 3, so that counts.
Oh yeah.
So,
NBC Sports agrees, so that's what matters.
Yeah, right. No, Dame is absolutely a top 3 point guard. But no, the basketball bubble has proven to be just so well done. Yeah. It has proven to just be so effective, and it goes to show that if the players want it bad enough, they're gonna just follow the rules. Yeah. Because even before, I mean, we talked about this last time we were on the show. How easy is it going to be for these players to follow the rules, right? Because we see stuff like it all the time where, players are getting caught doing something stupid, right? And this just goes to show that if they want it bad enough, pardon me, that they can do what they have to do to play the game. And regardless of who's playing or whatever, it's just it has worked so well. And same thing with the NHL.
I think to kind of go off that, it's something that I've thought about for a while. I think it's a testament to Adam Silver, and I think he's the best commissioner across all the 4 major sports. You think of how much money the NBA has put into this and how well they've done with everything going around. You always hear 0 COVID positive test, or if it is, it's 1 or something. It's a very small number. And now we're getting, compared to the MLB, we're getting to the point where the NBA is allowing family and children in that are related to the players. And it's like, you can't get to that point without smart planning and smart execution. And I think that is the testament to what Adam Silver's done.
The other thing I noticed a lot more about this MLB season, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. Obviously, we've talked about this before as well. The MLB is trying to be more entertaining to try to get back a lot of those viewers, right?
Yeah.
Especially with COVID, it's a lot harder. So to talk about basketball and hockey for a second, those sports thrive in a bubble because it's the same game regardless.
Yeah.
I feel like in a bubble, baseball would be a little bit different. So obviously they're trying the rule change with the runner on second for extra innings, stuff like that. But how many bench clearing brawls have there been? Just this season.
We had
alone.
A really good one with the Athletics and the Astros. Ramon Laureano wasn't taking anything from them.
We had that one. There was the one with the Astros and the Dodgers. I've seen at least 6 of them within the past month.
Yeah.
And it's like, not only are they still traveling and being on flights and going to and from and whatever, they're allowing family in, and then they just don't care that they're going to be in close proximity together.
Yeah.
Right.
Keep going.
Go ahead, Ty.
I think what really hurts the MLB is the fact that the championship from last year is such, and in the air, right? The team who won cheated, so it's like the integrity of the game kind of took a hit, right? So because their commissioner said it's just a piece of metal, so all of this happening, players are like, man, is it really worth it? Right? Because you said, the bubble for the NBA shows that it really matters, right? And with the fans, it really does matter, because what do we always say when we're comparing great players in the NBA? How many rings they got?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, we got to do whatever we got to do to get this ring, man. I need to cement my legacy. We need to do this. And that sense of urgency is showing. I talked about Hard Knocks earlier in the show, right? that sense of urgency. I felt that sense of urgency, right? They're going through all these protocols because that championship matters, man. That championship matters. Does it matter for the MLB enough? Is the question. And I think that we need to look at that.
I think it does. Obviously, the players want to play. I mean, we saw that with the whole thing when the MLB was going back and forth with the Players Association about, the deals and everything. And the players are like, look, we just want to play. But the biggest thing, and the one thing that I've always tried to defend baseball is that baseball is such a different sport compared to football and basketball in the sense that there's so many different moving parts. You have a 5-man rotation. You have 6 to 7, 8-man bullpen. You got 9 roster spots, or nine guys, 8 other guys, in the infield, outfield, and behind the plate. And some of those guys, they're changing on the daily. And with the NFL and the NBA, you got 5 guys on the court. LeBron's not going to get replaced by a G League guy, every 2 games just to give him rest. Sometimes he will, but LeBron's LeBron. And the same thing with Tom Brady. Like, they're not going to say, okay, Blaine Gabbert, go in there for a game for week 1 because we want Tom Brady to have an extra week. They're gonna allow the stars to shine. And I think that's the biggest thing is that the MLB players want to win and they want to play, but it's just like the owners are so money hungry and they're so determined to do whatever they can to get the most out of every single game. It's maddening as a fan to like see how poorly the season has been run. I mean, you're looking at teams. We were talking before the show, based on win percentage, the Cubs are first with like a 12-3 record, and the Cardinals are second, and they're 2-3 because they haven't played any of their games because of COVID. And the mishandling of the season that's been done by the MLB is it stinks to be a baseball fan sometimes for that reason.
I do have to say, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if this. I don't want to say this is going to be baseball's last season, right? Because I don't believe that, but it wouldn't surprise me if it took a big hit and a lot of restructuring to come back stronger. I agree with you 100%. Just the way everything's being handled. But first, before I continue, I need to give a shout out to my dude Joe Kelly because he is the biggest troll in the league.
I need his jersey. That's the jersey I need.
Right. No, he's awesome. I loved when he was on the Sox. Not so much as a pitcher, but his personality is awesome.
Anybody who can take down the Astros is a fan. I'm a fan of in my book.
Yeah, right. No, he's just he's not afraid to get down and dirty. He'll mouth off to whoever he wants. He's a funny dude, but no, but I think baseball should just cancel the rest of the season and try to regroup for next year. I think they have they have a lot to work on. I mean, and it's no testament that the Rays are doing great. The Blue Jays are doing pretty well. The Athletics, like we talked about last time we were on, I was like, what if they become the hottest team? And
they're killing
they're kind of looking like it right now.
The Rays are the hottest team. Let me say that. The longest win streak in the league. Let me preface with that. So,
but
I gotta help out my team here.
But no, it's like I'm not taking away anything that those teams are doing, but I just feel like with the direction the season is heading, with teams like the Cardinals and the Marlins not playing, it's just that's not really fair. So you're having half the teams play, half the other teams not play, and then some teams are playing more and some teams are playing less. It's just they have so much that they need to work on and that they need to kind of get it together before I think they can continue the season.
Yeah, and like the biggest thing is they kind of have like a set schedule for when everything is supposed to happen, when the playoffs are supposed to happen and all that. And the newest rule is that they're doing double headers that are 7 innings. And it's like the Cardinals are 10 games that they're 10 games behind the Cubs in games played. They got to make those up in a short amount of time. So the MLB is running out of time to get those games going. And so I hope they don't cancel the MLB season, but they're shooting themselves in the foot, and the players are doing it too by, we see a few of the Indians players, a few of their best pitchers leaving to go go hang out, and they got sent down to a off-site kind of place. And it's just like the players are doing it to themselves. The owners aren't doing a good job of managing that, and the MLB is obviously not doing a good job of managing that. And it's like we see that with the NBA. The difference in between is you see guys leaving to get food, or going to a strip club to get some chicken wings, and it's just like they're being shut down, and they're being told, all right, you're quarantined and you're done. And it's just like they've done such a good job of managing it, and it's the level of not the level, the way that
it's being
Rob Manfred, yeah, exactly. The way that Rob Manfred's handled it compared to Adam Silver is like
it's a day and night difference.
It's completely different. Yeah.
No, I agree. So, like Ty said earlier, I'm trying to hold up hope for the football season. I think if they can find a way to do a bubble, it'd be great. But obviously, I don't see that happening. But Roger Goodell, he's not a stupid guy. Obviously, being a Patriots fan, I have a little bit of animosity towards him, but I can tell you, like, he's not a dumb person, and hopefully he'll make the right choices. But
some fans would disagree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about National Tight End Day, bro.
National Tight End Day,
yes.
Let's do it.
Man, like, George Kittle got paid, Travis Kelce got paid. And I like this. I like this because, the tight end position is changing, right? It's kind of almost on par with the wide receiver position now.
So I need to say this, and I need to get this off my chest. I genuinely believe this, and whether everyone disagrees with me or not, I am dying on this hill alone. Rob Gronkowski paved the way for this to happen.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
I disagree. Because somebody paved the way for Rob Gronkowski, bro. And you know who did? Antonio Gates. And somebody paved the way for Antonio Gates, which was that star, receiving tight end for the Chargers way back when. I don't even know his name, right?
Winslow?
Yeah, Winslow. So it's like, I think it's stepping stones, bro. I think it's stepping stones.
The thing that I like to think of is when you look at contracts, especially over the last 10 years, and especially like the players who are playing and earning those high contracts, the tight end position has completely changed. I mean, think about, let's go back to 2012. That's not 10 years ago, but the guys who were in the league at that time, like the big name guys, Jordan Reed, Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham, Jordan Cameron, Greg Olsen, Gary Barnidge was having a career year around then. And it's like, those are all guys, especially outside of, Gronk and Jimmy Graham and Olsen, just guys who can run fast. And Gronkowski and all those guys are big dudes who can run fast and will run you over. And it's like now we see George Kittle. George Kittle's one of the fastest dudes on the field every time he steps on. And, I mean, Travis Kelce is a matchup nightmare. I mean, I'm a Broncos fan, man, and it's tough to watch it. I mean, every game that man just absolutely dominates us. And they both deserve it. I think the funny thing, I saw something on Twitter, and it was like, because Kittle got the contract first, and it was in response to Kelce getting his contract, and it was like, this is like the girl who announces her honeymoon after another girl announces because she's jealous or something.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
So let me ask you guys a question. So obviously we just saw Travis Kelce and George Kittle get paid. There is one other tight end that seemingly his name gets left out of the conversation, but when his name is brought up, he's considered a top tight end in the league, and that is Zach Ertz. Do you believe Zach Ertz deserves a contract like this?
I do. I think in this game, the game of football morphed, right? You said that Gronkowski, was the reason that these guys are like getting paid top dollar, but I agree with that, but I also agree with the fact that the game is changing, right? It's more basketball on grass, right? So these big frame, agile linemen who can catch, like that's what a tight end is now in today's game. So I think because the game is more sprint and perimeter things, you need a tight end that can catch the ball, that can grab people's attention right in the middle of the field. So I think because the game is morphed the way that it has, I think that, that's the reason for the tight end position gaining value. right? So yeah, I think that's the main reason
Yeah, you know,
that deserve that contract.
yeah. To answer your question, I think it's tough because when you look at Ertz, he's had a little bit of an injury history, and we all know when he's on the field, he's a top 5 tight end in the league. When he is healthy, he is. Yeah, yes, he's definitely a top. I think he could be a top 3. I think there's some arguments that can be made for some players, especially after this year. Hey, man, I'm telling you,
I'm out today.
With Lamar with Lamar Jackson, watch out for Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is going to have an absolutely amazing year, and I think he could take over Zach Ertz as the 3, especially if Ertz gets hurt. But I think the thing is with Ertz, it's the same thing as his teammate Wentz. It's tough to give that much money to a player who has an injury history, but you know how good he is on the field and what his potential could be. So I think he does deserve a contract, but it's something that the Eagles need to kind of hold off for as long as they can to make sure that he can stay healthy for as long as, they need him to be.
I respect it. I feel the same way as you, Tommy. I mean, Zach Ertz, he's my friend. Everyone thinks I'm dumb for this, but I will argue till I'm blue in the face that his touchdown catch in the Super Bowl against the Patriots was actually an incomplete.
Yeah. Oh no! Come on. That's just a sad Patriots fan right there, man. You've won enough Super Bowls. Share some for us, man.
Listen, I'm just trying to say.
I'm sorry, Jerry. I'm sorry. I want to play devil's advocate right quick because this is the only time I can do this, right? Let's say they don't play Ertz. Who are they going to replace him with? Who are they going to replace him with?
They have
exactly
Goddard. They have Dallas Goddard. Yeah. Goddard's a good player. Goddard's a good player.
Good. Right? They got Goddard, but who's going to replace Goddard if he moves up? Their system, they kind of need both. They're kind of like the Patriots when there was Gronkowski and my boy Aaron Hernandez, right? So it's kind of like I don't see them not playing a lot of 2 tight end sets. I don't see them not playing that because that's their playbook. You feel me? So how do you compensate for a loss of Zach Ertz? I don't know how. That's why they have to pay him, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, the biggest thing about paying guys, and we saw this with, being a Broncos fan, we saw this with Justin Simmons. It's just like Justin Simmons is one of the best safety, as in a non-biased way as I can make this. I mean, he was the highest rated safety for a reason. He's one of the best young players in the league, but with the uncertainty of the cap space, and the amount of money that they can give to each position, they didn't pay him this year. They let him play on the franchise tag. And so he's getting the chance to not only show up John Elway in Denver that, hey, I deserve this contract, but also prove why he was the highest rated player and earn even more. So I think with that, it's like, I want to see Ertz. Like we said, we know he's a top 5, top 3 tight end in the league. So if he shows up, and earns that contract, then he's going to obviously, get paid for what he deserves.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, look, I'm rooting for Dallas Goedert, man, because the Bears need a tight end.
Yeah, it didn't work out for you last year with Trey Burton.
Man, that was disappointing, man. I don't want to talk about Trey Burton. I reached for him in fantasy and everything, bro. I don't want to talk about it.
Speaking of fantasy, I'm telling you want some fantasy advice? Mark Andrews and Darren Waller, they're going to be top 5 tight ends this year.
Yep.
Darren Waller, for sure. I love Darren Waller.
He is good.
You should talk to Ryan Sturt about Darren Waller.
I love it.
He is obsessed, but no.
It's tough being a Broncos fan facing all these tight ends.
No, I mean, like I was saying, obviously, like I'm in the minority with believing that catch was an incomplete, but I watched the replay like 7 times, and to me, I didn't see the 3 forward steps. I saw 2, and then he dropped it. I was like,
You should have a sign in the back that says "Salty Patriot." Neon
over there.
Yeah, exactly. You've won enough, man. Share some for us, man. The Bears haven't won one since '85. The Broncos haven't won one since 2015. Man, we all need.
Okay, yours is a little bit more recent. You don't need another one.
No, we need another one, man. Drew Lock's the future.
I will give the Bears the opportunity to get one.
They won't though. They'll double it.
They won't.
You gotta talk after this show, man.
Man.
I had to throw that in there, man. I'm sorry.
All right. So I want to take a segment that Ryan and I did on the Zero Tech podcast the last time we talked. The last time him and I did an episode. And I want to give him a huge shout out. He just had his baby boy at 10 a.m. this morning. So congratulations, Ryan. I know you're probably busy, but we just wanted to give you a shout out and say congratulations on the birth of your son. But Ryan and I talked about this, and I know we have something that we talked about earlier that we have planned, but what if you had to pick your top 5 favorite football movies, what would they be?
Ooh.
Top 5 favorite football movies. Well, number 1 is Remember the Titans. Anything after that, I can't tell you, bro.
I'm gonna try and think of some some out there ones. That's a good one. That's a good one. You guys seen Invincible with Mark Wahlberg?
Oh man.
Hey man, don't disrespect Mark Wahlberg.
Hey,
I love Mark Wahlberg.
I'm not disrespecting. It's a good movie.
That's a great movie.
Man, I'm a huge movie buff, so this might be a little bit easier
me
for
too,
me.
Man.
But my number 1 favorite football movie is The Blind Side.
Good one. Mm-hmm. Good choice.
Why? That's interesting. Michael Orr doesn't like that movie at all.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't take away from the fact that the acting was phenomenal. The storytelling was excellent. The directing, everything about the movie I thought was perfect. Michael Orr doesn't like it because of the way it was portrayed. However, he understands why. Like I read a lot about it. It's just it's so hard to capture a story if you do 100% based like true story, right? It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So the story, and so Michael Orr claims that he's a really fun-loving guy who goes out and is like super interactive, where he was portrayed as a shy dude in the movie, but you're not really going to be captivated by somebody that's super bubbly and open and fun when you're watching it. You're gonna be looking for, like, you're more captivated in his story because he's this sad, background and sad, kind of quiet, closed off dude. And that's what brings you in. It's like, oh my God, like, when is he going to open up? How's he going to get into football? So
I like it.
What do you, so
Draft Day. That's a good one.
Draft Day's a good one. Draft Day's a good one.
I love We Are Marshall. I think that's a good one too. Got to throw out love for both versions of The Longest Yard, the Burt Reynolds one and the Adam Sandler one. Gridiron Gang, man. I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I love The Rock. So I think that's a good movie too.
All right.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. That was a good movie.
So my number 2 favorite is Remember the Titans, obviously. I don't even need to talk about it. Like, you guys know, that movie is top tier, always will be. My number 3 is actually Rudy.
Man, yeah, I'm not going to comment on that one. I'm not a big fan of that movie.
My number 4 is Radio.
That's underrated. I didn't think of that one. That's good.
And then my number 5 is Gridiron Gang.
Do we count Jerry Maguire?
You can, yeah. Ryan Stern, that's actually one of his favorite football movies. It's in his top 5. So, Jerry Maguire is an excellent movie. I could talk, like, we should probably switch off of this.
Do a sports movie podcast, man. I wish they made more. There's
so many sports movies. Like, we could probably dedicate a whole episode to just talking sports movies. And I'm down.
But are there so many really good ones? Like those ones? I just think that Hollywood doesn't do as good of a job in telling like draft. I think that's why I like Draft Day so much, is because of how original it is. It's just like no one would think to make a movie about what goes on Draft Day, and to have the cast that they did. I think Chadwick Boseman's in it, and they had some players like Arian Foster. Man, that's a name I haven't heard of in a while. I think they did a really good job with that one. I just wish. My thing is, I would just always wish that they would make more sports movies that are a little bit more original.
So we were talking strictly, football right now.
Yeah.
Right. We could talk football or baseball movies too.
Oh,
you know what movie was absolute gold that doesn't get enough credit? Moneyball.
Yes.
Yeah, Moneyball. I don't know.
I got it over there.
I think Moneyball gets a lot of credit with expressing like the importance of analytics within baseball. Like I like within baseball, I think that movie is key, man.
Yeah,
that movie was key, like for baseball and baseball fans. But as far as like worldwide recognition, you're right about that.
Yeah, and then the movie 42, Jackie Robinson,
another good one.
That one
feel weird.
It's just no. When you think about it, right I can keep going off about different sports movies. However, there's so many great ones that I genuinely think I could sit on this show for an hour and talk about excellent sports movies the whole time.
Oh yeah, not that there isn't good sports movies. I just wish with how much Hollywood has done the campy action film or all that other stuff. Like us sports fans need some originality.
You should be the Spike Lee. Not Spike Lee, but what's the guy from Marvel who created everything and made superheroes the thing, right? Stan Lee.
Stan Lee, yeah.
Stan Lee of sports movies, man.
Let's do it, man.
Believe me.
So the only sport I'll say that didn't necessarily have any incredible movies is basketball, but like I thought Uncle Drew was funny as hell. Space Jam is a classic.
Basketball has some great movies, bro.
Celtic Pride, man, with Dan Aykroyd.
Great movie. Coach Carter. Coach Carter's great too.
That's a good one.
Hoosiers? You know what movie that I actually want to see? I want to see The Way Back with Ben Affleck.
That's a great movie. I saw it in theaters. I highly recommend.
I haven't got to see it
yet.
yet.
Mike, yes.
That movie was classic.
Yes, exactly.
And then if we're talking hockey movies,
Miracle's a great movie.
Number one.
Man, we should do it. Next episode should be an all sports movie.
Yeah, let's do it. We will talk and break. This is what we'll do. All right, we're gonna give the viewers a breakdown of what we're gonna do next week. We're each gonna pick 5 sports movies each, and we're gonna talk about the list so we don't have any overlapping, and we're gonna break each of them down.
Mm-hmm.
That sound like a fun time?
Yeah,
we'll take an hour. We'll talk about strictly sports movies. I am so excited for this.
That sounds. I'm ready. Yeah, let's go.
But I do. So we only have a few minutes left, and we did want to say, what is your favorite sports video game of all time?
I'm gonna let my guy Tommy go first.
Oh no, I was gonna go grab it. I was gonna go grab it over there.
Go grab it. Do it. You got a second.
Okay. You said of all time, right?
Yep.
Woo! Man, I'm taking this back to the sandbox, bro. NBA Live 2005. I feel like that game.
I've been thinking all day about this one.
And gaming in general, like that game is gold. NBA Live, Carmelo Anthony's on the cover.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Tommy, you're up.
Oh man, so I'm a huge franchise guy. Like. Okay. Before Ultimate Team, that was franchise was like the thing. I like take it all because when I was a kid, all my teams were terrible. So had to be happy in some time when I played. But man, NFL head coach is underrated as heck, man. This game is so good. You can do anything that you want. It's even got Bill Cowher on the cover. I mean, outside of that, I'd say like ESPN NFL 2K5. But NFL head coach was the first game that I ever was like. I'd sit down and I could probably lose a whole day to it, just doing Absolutely. I wasn't, you couldn't even play the games. Like you were just watching on the sidelines, but it was so cool to me because I was like, man, now the Broncos can finally be good for once.
For me, I would have to say NCAA 2004 on the PS2.
Bro, I got that one over there too.
That was my favorite game. So I'm gonna tell you guys a quick funny thing about it. So my favorite college team is the Tar Heels.
Okay.
I love the Tar Heels, but for whatever reason, when I learned that the Florida Gators were the reason behind Gatorade, that's where it came from, I was stoked because Gatorade is my favorite drink, and it has been ever since I was a little kid. And so I made sure that when I did my create a player that he was on the Florida Gators. And I played that game so much that my guy was 99 everything. 99 everything. It was just so unfair, and I had so much fun just playing, and oh man, that would be.
If we were doing sports entertainment, I would pick WWE, one of the old WWE games, because I used to play the heck out of those.
Well, let me ask. So would Mario Baseball or Mario's Sluggers count?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like saying, would Wii Sports count, man? Wii Sports is a classic. It was a top 5 sports game right there.
I remember playing Mario Sluggers on the GameCube.
Yes, dude.
with Bowser and Mario hitting home runs. That was that was another really fun game.
Man, it's like we could.
On that same note, there's a backyard football game. They have huge heads and they kind of have kid bodies and whatnot. That was a good game.
Man, did you guys ever play the Bigs?
You know what game? Oh my God, Blitz the League.
The Blitz
where you get
the League, yes, bro. Oh man,
that game was wild.
2 weeks from now, we should do a best sports video game episode or something. Man, you're about to make me crack out the PS2, dude. Go play some old games here.
Bro, buy me a plane ticket. I'll come out. We'll spend a week playing.
For sure, man. Oh,
we'll get Tyrone to fly out too. We'll all just crash at your place, play retro sports games for
however
long. That'd be awesome.
Anyway,
guys,
I really am about to go. I'm about to play some PS4 after this. I'm about to go start at my PS2 or something.
Fact. Yeah, now I can dust off my player right quick.
Anyway, guys, that's all the time we have today for this episode of the Trifecta. Tommy, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
You can find me on my Twitter at TommySmith1515 right there. I think my Instagram is TommySmith_15. I like to talk a lot about sports, especially the Rays. And like I said earlier, hottest team in baseball. So you're probably going to see a lot of retweets from me about how we're dominating every team. So,
Tyrone, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Tyrone Starworth. Make sure to click on the handsome guy that you see right here. All right. You can also find me on Instagram at Ty_Talk Sports and Twitter at TYEE_3. But I don't really use that one, so use those ones.
And as everyone knows, you can find me on Twitter at JournalistJ0. You can find me on Facebook at Jared0. You can also find the both of these guys and myself on backsportspage.com, where we all have great articles coming up all the time. I know Tommy's been working on some stuff. I've been working on some stuff. I actually recently had the privilege of interviewing Bob Sosi, the New England Patriots radio play-by-play voice. So if you want to learn about him, read that. Don't forget, check out Back Sports Page on all platforms on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, with all the great shows that we have going up every single day. To name a few, we have the Hardwood Huddle, which is hosted by Randy Zelia and Bill Ingram. We have the Exit Velo podcast, which has a rotating cast of guys. You can find me on the Zero Technique podcast, which goes every Wednesday with Ryan Stern. He won't be on for the next couple of weeks because he just had a baby. But there's so many great shows on Back Sports Page. Again, check us out on every platform. And everybody, have a great night.